Welcome back. Now what we need to do is that we need to work on creating a movie. So remember we already have this endpoint. Let me uncomment this endpoint, which creates a resource. Here in our case, we create a movie. However, this time we need to create a movie and insert it into our database. So what we want to do is that we want to use SQL here in this endpoint in order to insert a new movie into our database. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to here, as we learned earlier how to use SQL here, we need to say in this create movie endpoint or function, we need to say SQL is equal to, and then the SQL command that inserts something into the database. In our case, it's a movie. It's insert into, and then the name of the table is movies. Insert into movies. And then what do we want to insert? We want to insert, let me show you what we want to insert. What we want to insert is that we want to insert for every single movie, we want to insert the title, the year, and the storyline. The ID will be given by the database, so you don't have to worry about the ID. So here I'm going to say title, and then comma, and then year, and then comma, and then storyline. And then we need to append the values. So we need to say values. What are the values? The values here, we need to add blanks so that we can fill these blanks later. So I'm going to say here percentage and then S, and then comma, and then percentage S, and then comma, and then percentage S. Because we need 3 blanks. We need a blank for the title, we need another blank for the year, and we need another and third and final blank for the storyline. Now we need to get these values. We need to get the title, the year, the storyline from the user. So in a new line, I'm going to say val is equal to, and then I'm going to say here in a tuple, I'm going to get the movie, which is this, which is obviously a dictionary. So we need to say here movie, and then what we want to access from that dictionary, we want to access first the title, and then comma here, and then movie, and then we want to access the year, and then comma, and then we want to access the storyline. And finally, we need to append these values to the SQL. So we need to say my cursor dot execute, and then we want to pass the SQL and the val. And then we finally we say here we don't need this anymore. We need to remove this line. And then after we execute, we need to use a very important function. Unlike getting something from the database, we need to call a function called commit. We need to say my database dot commit. So this function, if you don't call this function, data wouldn't be inserted into the database. This is very, very important. The commit function is required whenever you are altering something in the database. It's so important. Finally, we need to return that movie that has been inserted. So I'm going to say movie. I'm going to return the movie. That's it. Let me now click on File and then Save All. And let's test. So now I'm going to refresh. And then we should have a new URL. So as you can see, we have a new URL called Create Movie. Let me click on it. And let me here click on Try It Out. And let's insert a new movie. So here, I'm going to say, first we need the title. So I'm going to say title. And then let me insert here a new movie. let's say here Rio, and then here, and then storyline. Then all we need to do is that we need to click on execute and see what's going to happen. So let me click on execute. And as you can see here, it says 200 success. And here the movie has been returned. Now, in order to verify that, you can do two things. You can either open up the database and refresh your table. Let me click on the table. So the table will be refreshed. And as you can see, a new movie has been inserted. As you can see, a new movie has been inserted. And you can also get all of the movies now here by using the movies. Of course, you are going to get the movie that has just been inserted. If you click on try it out and then execute, as you can see, you will get the movie here, Rio, which has been inserted, which is the latest movie that has been, or the last movie that has been inserted into the database.